Hello and welcome to Professional Skills 2. I'm Eloise Hunter from the Durban campus, and today we're going to be learning about your experiential learning. This is lesson 5. As you can see, there is a lot to cover today. We're going to learn about what to do and what not to do in a host workplace, accept responsibility for finding your own host workplaces. You're going to get excited about a possible placement in the media industry, get passionate about developing your own CV, think about what being a professional at your host company will mean for you. You'll understand what experiential learning is and why it is beneficial for you to take part. Understand the importance of experiential learning. Have a clear idea of expectations from your experiential learning and contributions you can make. And know that without experiential learning, you cannot pass this course and therefore graduate the following year. You're going to introspect and answer the self-reflective questions, research companies for suitable experiential learning, and determine to make the most of experiential learning along with creating a professional CV, practicing your professionalism inside and outside of class. But before we dive into all of that, let's just reflect on lesson 4. Think about these questions and answer them in class. Have you been more aware of EQ, that's emotional intelligence, since the last lesson? Have you been able to apply any key behavioral skills of EQ? If yes, give an example, and if not, why not? Try to save this timeline somewhere so that you can keep track of whether you're on task or not. So today you're going to find out about your experiential learning requirement, which involves working at a company for 2 weeks or 80 hours. So in March, you will develop materials for your job search and summative assessment briefing. And then you will apply for your placement in April and May. But you need to start preparing for that placement and preparing for that application now. In June and July, when you have your break, you're going to participate in your 80 hours of work experience. And then in August, remembering that this subject is only a first semester subject, you're going to submit your summative assessment for professional skills in August 2022. We have given you extra time to make sure that you have the chance to attend work for 2 weeks in your break. So let's talk. What is experiential learning? What's its purpose? What are the benefits and what are the outcomes? Discuss this with the rest of your class. According to your Professional Skills 2 subject curriculum statement, experiential learning offers candidates a reflective and reflexive opportunity to acquire the soft skills associated with situated occupational learning and to observe the hard skills associated with a chosen occupational field. So what that means what soft skills means is things like interpersonal communication and leadership and listening and all of those things that we've talked about so far. It's your emotional intelligence, it's your self-awareness. While you are going to observe professionals in your chosen industry performing their technical skills. So hard skills are the nitty-gritty, getting stuff done, your major subjects, the writing, the recording, the editing, the designing. Okay, so the emphasis is on your personal benefits of communication skills, teamwork, cooperation, and self-motivation. And your career benefits are career clarification, professional identity, improved employment prospects, development of positive work values and ethics, as well as the values of academics, which will be enhanced thinking, interdisciplinary appreciation and application, so understanding how all your different subjects work together to make you a decent employee, and cognitive reflection and development. And you're going to do a lot of cognitive reflection and development for your summative assessment. There are also skills development benefits, increased competence for the workplace, improved technical knowledge, and workplace skills. How exciting! As promised, here are your reflection questions. So quietly, individually write down your dream media job. And then write down your fears about what could be stopping you from getting that dream job. Once you have assessed what your goals are and what your fears are, list 3 skills that you'll need to develop relating to emotional intelligence. That is 3 emotional intelligence skills. Then 3 skills relating to professionalism, 3 skills relating to academics, and then finally, the technical ability for your dream role. What do you need to learn to do well before you can get your dream job? The solo work is over and it's time to work as a group. Altogether, people in your class need to tell your lecturer what industry you're in, and we're going to write those industries across the top of the board in your lecture room. And then as a class, you're going to think of organizations that could use those skills, use those professionals. So just because you're interested in, let's say, sound engineering, doesn't mean you can only work at a radio station. There are lots of places that need sound engineers. So where will you try? So think of as many as you can, and then once you've all brainstormed together, you should make sure that you record the ideas that your class has come up with, and that will ensure that you know where to go when you are applying for your experiential learning. A lot of the time in the media, you will hear about something called internship. So an internship is a formal program, and it's designed to develop the intern while they perform set tasks in an organization. There is very often a pay rate for an intern, and there are job adverts advertising specifically for interns. You cannot just become an intern. You have to have a certain level of skill and qualification, and your goal as an intern is to make a good impression, learn a lot, and then hopefully return for a permanent position. Then an experiential learning placement or work placement is not a formal program at your host company. It's you asking them a favor to allow you on their premises, and then you'll do favors for them while you're there, doing entry-level tasks and practicing your soft skills while observing the actual professionals. You may have done something like this while you were in grade 11. I know that my school had a work placement program, and I was lucky enough to get a work placement at a magazine, and then years later I became a journalist at a very different magazine, but still a magazine. So this experiential learning placement, it really can help shape your life. Even though when you're there, you're not going to be doing your dream job, but you're going to be observing people doing your dream job. So this is something that you're going to have to go out and look for, because nobody is advertising to try and find unqualified people to work at their organization. Now, while you're not looking for an internship, there are guidelines about what makes a good intern and how to make a good impression and how to get the most out of the internship. These tips are also going to be applicable for your experiential learning placement. So please download these slides and click through, or Google those terms to find that article and that video, what makes a good intern. Remember that in this course, you are expected to spend many hours of independent learning. So doing these readings and watching these videos counts towards those hours, the notional hours, independent learning. So what will determine whether you're successful? You need professionalism. Let's talk. How do you need to behave to be accepted in this role? You need a CV. And what makes that CV effective? You need to have a winning interview. So do you need to prepare for that interview, and how are you going to do that? The Professional Skills 2 aims to answer these questions and equip you with the tools to make experiential learning a success. So let's collaborate in answering these questions so that you can successfully complete your experiential learning. Why should you go to a media company for experiential learning instead of, let's say, your parents' company, whatever they do for a living? What are the consequences of not getting the most out of your experiential learning? How are you going to source possible host companies? How can you show your host company that you are willing to adapt to unconventional work practices? Think about how the 2020 professional skills students had to complete their experiential learning. So unconventional work practices could include remote work or doing things that are usually done indoors, outdoors. So there we go. Go over and reflect on everything we've covered today, reread your notes, and create a plan of action, breaking the task into smaller steps. How are you going to start looking for experiential learning placement? And our next class will give you more tools to help find your host workplaces, a reminder of how to craft an impressive and professional CV, and tips on how to conduct yourself in a job interview. Students are asked to please bring their Professional Skills 1 textbook for the next lesson.